Hello guys, welcome to my English class. Today we are going to learn something important and useful. It is called present perfect. If you want to talk about a completed action at indefinite time in the past, you can use the present perfect. Remember, in grammar perfect means before. So, the present perfect means before the present. There are some examples that we can check. For example, I have eaten lobster. She has been to Canada. To make a sentence in the present perfect, we need a subject, I, the auxiliary have, and the verb in past participle, in this case, eaten. So, I have eaten lobster. Or we can use the contraction, I've eaten lobster. We use the auxiliary have for I, we, you, and they. The contractions are I've, we've, you've, and they've. For he, she, and it, we use has. For example, she has been to Canada or she's been to Canada. The contractions are she's, his, and its. On the other hand, we have the negative form. For example, I haven't eaten lobster. She hasn't been to Canada. To make questions, we order everything like this. Have you eaten lobster? Has she been to Canada? As you can see, first we have the auxiliary have, then the subject, and the verb in past participle. If you want to ask or talk about an experience at indefinite time in the past, you can use the present perfect. But in this case, we have to use ever and never. For example, have you ever drunk wine? And the answer, yes, I have drunk it. So, we use ever in the question, but we don't use it in the answer. If the answer is negative, we use never. For example, no, I have never drunk it. We have another example. Has she ever driven a car? The answer in affirmative, yes, she has driven a car. Or, no, she has never driven a car. On the other hand, we can use the present perfect to express that an action has happened or hasn't happened, but we expect to. In this case, we use already and yet. For example, I have already done my homework. She has already sent the report. These sentences express that the action has taken place. To express that an action hasn't taken place, we use yet. For example, I haven't done my homework yet. She hasn't sent the report yet. Although yet expresses an action hasn't taken place, we use yet in the question. For example, have you done your homework yet? Has she sent the report yet? We can use the present perfect to talk about actions that started in the past and continue in the present. We have two different ways to express that idea: the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous. Let's start with the present perfect simple. In this case, we can use since and for. For example, I have lived in Mexico for 3 years. For indicates the period of the action. He has used a laptop since 2021. Since indicates when the action started. We have the negative form. I haven't worked at Interlingua for 3 years. He hasn't used a laptop since 2021. If we want to ask about an action that started in the past and continues in the present, we can use how long. For example, how long have you worked at Interlingua? And the answer, I have worked there for 3 years. Or, how long has he used a laptop? And the answer, he has used a laptop since 2021. As I said before, we have two different ways to express that idea. In this case, we are going to talk about present perfect continuous. We can use the present perfect continuous to talk about an action that started in the past and continue in the present. But there is a difference. In this case, we have to use have or has and been. Also, we have to use the verb plus ing after been. For example, I have been working for 3 years. He has been using a laptop since 2021. In the negative form, I haven't been working for 3 years. He hasn't been using a laptop since 2021. We can use the same question as we do with simple present perfect. How long? For example, how long have you been swimming? And the answer, I have been swimming for 5 years. How long has she been taking German classes? And the answer, she has been taking German classes since 2022. Fortunately, we can use the present perfect continuous with the following verbs: be, like, become, know, and have for possession. For example, if you say, I have been liking pop music all my life, it is incorrect. If you say she has been a doctor for many years, it is incorrect too. We have to use the present perfect simple with those verbs. For example, I have liked pop music all my life. She has been a doctor for many years.